Hey guys, it's Rachel from The Little Green Lamb, and this is my book review plus discussion video on the third book in the Pretty Little Liars series, Perfect by Sara Shepard. And before I get into this, I'm going to give a disclaimer. The review will be no spoilers. I wouldn't recommend a book if I was going to spoil it, but I will tell you when the discussion comes. The discussion will entail spoilers from the first Pretty Little Liars book, the second, which is called Flawless, and the third, which is obviously Perfect. And I'll tell you when spoilers are coming up, so if you have not read those books, you can turn off the video and come back later. So, in case you're new to my book reviews, I'll just give you a refresher. I rate my books in 5 different categories: plot, characters, cover, suspense, and overall in terms of reading them very soon. 5 out of 5, not so soon, 1 out of 5. So we're going to get into this. So basically, a synopsis of this book, this part of the review will entail spoilers, obviously from the first two, not from this book. Just again, I want to say that. So in this one, basically, we leave off where we left off in the last book, and I'll just read the back because it's very short. It's 2 little paragraphs. So it says, Arya can't resist her forbidden ex. Hannah's on the verge of losing her BFF. Emily is freaking out over a simple kiss, and Spencer can't keep her hands off anything that belongs to her sister. And that's basically what's happening with the girls this book. Then it's basically what A is saying, like, look at me, la-di-da-di-da. Anyway, plot. I get the plot a 5 out of 5. I absolutely love this plot. This is a reread. I've read this book about 4 or 5 times, maybe more. I can't keep track. I've at least read the first 4 books, I think, 5 times, or maybe 6. Something like that. But I love the plot every time. I find this to be one of the most highly suspenseful books. And I like the plot a lot of this out of the first 4 books. Characters, I give a 5 out of 5. I absolutely love the characters. I love that they can make me some of them can make me so outraged I just want to throw the book. And that's what I really love about characters. I love how they get me to feel something, either happiness, sadness, anything. I really love all the characters in these books. I can't complain. Cover, I also give a 5 out of 5. I love the old covers where they have the girl in the back and the doll in the front. I really like the hot pink color. I think I like the 4 first books the most because I found them the most iconic to me, because there was never this many when I started the series, so I kind of find them like comforting. And also it's really funny how the first 3 are on the back and they're so much bigger than they are now. They're like boop boop boop. Now they're like so small. That's probably really awkward looking. They're so small in the back because there's so many now. Suspense, I give a 5 out of 5. I love the suspense. I remember I was at my friend's, like, I just slept over the night before, and it was just the afternoon. We were just chilling, reading, and I remember I read the end of this, and I was like, holy crap, I need the 4th book. I didn't have it at home, so I, like, left very shortly after that, because it's like, my friend reads too, so she knows how it is when you're on a cliffhanger. So it's like, okay, I have to go. So, like, before I went home, I got to go to the bookstore, and I was like, must read. Yeah. The suspense is really high, and it was really high this time even too. Overall, a 5 out of 5. If I can read this so many times over, it's obviously a good book in my eyes. I obviously recommend this series highly. It's one of my favorite series. Just love it so much. Anyway, that is the end of my book review. So now moving on to the discussion. In the discussion, there will be spoilers from this book. So if you have not read this, bye, and thanks for watching. If you have, you can continue on listening. So spoilers are coming up. So, for discussion, I wrote down some notes because I technically finished this last night, but I wasn't feeling well enough to film a video, so I wrote down a few key points. So my first is Hannah plus Lucas. I really liked Hannah and Lucas together, actually, but I figured it probably wouldn't work because they're very different, and now that Hannah's had her, like, transformation, they come from, like, different worlds kind of thing. But I really like them together, and it's kind of like a throwback because now, obviously, she's with somebody else, I'm not going to say. And then Sean getting Ezra in trouble and didn't even call Arya a dilemma. So, I didn't really like how Sean handled the situation. He probably should wait till Arya came home and then talk to her instead of getting Mr. Fitz in jail. But I understand where he's coming from because he is very, what's the word? I honestly can't think of the word I was going to say. He's very, like, he has a very good moral compass. He knows that if something's wrong, you should call the cops kind of thing. He's like a good boy. So, he did the right thing, obviously, but I think he really should talk to Arya first. Hannah and Barris at Mona's party. I felt so bad for Hannah at this situation. When I first read this book, I figured it was a trick or something, especially when she was talking about how tight the dress was, because usually best friends would know about what size to get their friend, or at least know that that would be probably too tight, considering they're only best friends for each other, and they're very, very close. They should at least know around the size. Ending and the I told you guys in the review of the sleepover story about how I was at my friend's. The ending, I loved the ending. It's such a good cliffhanger. At A's last text, she knew too much. Oh my gosh, that's one of my favorite lines A has said in the whole series. I absolutely love that line. It's just hits her and says she knew too much. It's just powerful words to leave the book off with. So suspenseful. I loved it. It's such a simple message, but it has such a big meaning, like not big meaning, but it has such a big effect. Emily's moved to Iowa. I hated when Emily was in Iowa. But I kind of like it at the same time because I found Emily's storyline, I don't like her storyline as much as the other characters. I find it a little bit boringer than the other characters because hers is mostly all relationship drama and stuff, where the other characters, they do a relationship drama, but they have other stuff. And also she's really sporty, which I can't really relate to. I don't know if that's sporty. But I find Emily, when she goes to Iowa, it gets a little bit more interesting. At least she has something else to focus on, which I really enjoy. But I really like Emily's character regardless. She's just my least favorite one to read about. And my last note is Spencer's Blackouts. So if any of you guys are Veronica Mars fans, as you may have known, I recently watched the series. If you keep up with some of my Baba Back to Me, I might have mentioned it, because I was very obsessed at the time, wasn't reading that much. And Spencer's blackout situation really reminded me of Duncan Kane, and he's a character from Veronica Mars who suffered blackouts. And oh my gosh, that reminded me and just gave me a flashback. I've been reading some Veronica Mars confessions, so I've been wanting to rewatch the series, but that just reminded me of that. So I found that very interesting, even though it's not a big plot in the show. That's what it reminded me of. So if you're really interested, I guess, in characters with blackouts, you can watch that. I don't know. Anyway, thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later.